over the last couple of years, we have worked really hard on our automation and our AI strategy across all functions of the business. So we've looked at finance, we've looked at marketing, sales, and operations. And over the last couple of months, I've had lots of people reach out and asking, what are we doing for AI? How is it working in our team? How are we building processes? And I found myself having the same conversation multiple times. So I thought what would be really helpful is to have our team talk about all the amazing things that they've done and essentially build a guide for businesses on how do you get started with AI, some fresh ideas for all the different functions of the business, some practical use cases, problems we solved, stuff that hasn't worked, and hopefully that is a useful piece of content that can help lots of other businesses that are just like us and going through their AI journey. So today we have a really special treat and we are interviewing, I think, about 10 different people across all of the different functions. And these are the things and the innovations and the passion projects that they've had built themselves, can talk about all the trials and tribulations of doing that and share the end result. So please enjoy. I think it'll be fantastic. So welcome to our first guest. Can you start off by giving us who you are, what your role is, and an introduction to your department?
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm a paid social manager at TAG, and I'm in the social team side of the technical team. So I do all the social media campaigns from LinkedIn to Meta, TikTok. So I'm on all the platforms running ads.
And what problems have you encountered in your team and how has AI helped you solve those problems?
So one of the main problems that we've tend to have is like in the setup process of a campaign. We've found that there's been scenarios where we've had a lot of back and forward with clients, like over kind of the same topic, such as like getting access to ad account, how to read their media plans, just things like that. And over that time, I've seen that there was a lot of topics that were showing up multiple times. And I thought, okay, there needs to be a way to streamline this process, because what it was resulting in is us as a technical team having to have a lot more back and forward with client comms, and also just having to have additional calls with our clients, which meant that it was taking time away from us and also taking time away from our clients in their everyday tasks. So we had to streamline it. So the way I thought to tackle this was by looking at AI and how to make this whole process streamlined. And the result of that was Tag Digital's AI Guide Phoenix, which was a completely AI-driven project where I used an AI platform to create an avatar called Phoenix and then use like AI to create a script for anything that Phoenix said. So this process took around a quarter to do, but she's been rolled out across the whole technical team now, and we've seen her start to help and reduce the comms.
What's been the impact of integrating Phoenix across the wider team?
I think the main thing is that it has prevented a lot of these like additional calls and a lot of the additional comms. And what that means is that we're able to focus more of our time on building our campaigns for our clients, and also meaning the clients don't need to jump on as many calls with us. It just means that everyone's work and time spent a lot more efficiently.
And what are you most excited about in terms of future AI advancements or projects you've got coming up?
I'm working on currently a project on looking at how AI can be used to streamline our insights and optimizations process. So that is one of the bigger tasks that we complete at TAG as part of the technical team on a bi-weekly basis, which is where we look into our accounts manually and provide the clients with insights into what's working well, maybe what's not working so well, and any changes that we've made. So this does take a chunk of time, like probably around half an hour to do this. And if you can think you're doing that with multiple clients a day, and then you're needing to do this bi-weekly for each client, so it is quite time consuming. So what this project is going to do is I'm looking at how we can maybe make this more streamlined by uploading information from the platforms and having AI provide some insights into what's working well, and also help us make sure that we're making the best optimizations for the campaigns going forward.
And what percentage of time saving do you think that's going to give you back?
Honestly, I think it could give us back hours a day, because as I said, like we do I'd maybe do around 4 sets of insights on average a day, take me about half an hour each. That's around 2 hours. And I think I could even bring it down to around an hour and an hour and a half just by having the whole insight process much more streamlined.
Amazing. Thank you, Beth.
Perfect. Thank you.
So welcome to our next guest. Can you please give us an intro to who you are, what your role is, and what department you work in?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Sagar. I'm the financial controller here at Tag Digital, and I work alongside two others to form a very small and, let's say, nimble and capable finance team. So, we're not your stereotypical...
Mighty.
Yes, mighty. Let's go with that. We're not your stereotypical finance department. We are, very much embedded in the kind of day-to-day kind of operational side at the agency. So whether that's kind of assisting at the initial media planning stage or, dealing directly with kind of client queries as they crop up through a campaign. So yeah, we've very much got a kind of role to play in that client delivery side at the business.
So can you talk a little bit about a problem that you've encountered in your team and how you've used AI or automation to help solve that problem?
Yeah, sure. So, well, let me think. So I would consider myself probably maybe a 5 or a 6 when it comes to kind of Excel spreadsheet type stuff. But, we've really started to leverage kind of things like ChatGPT and even specific like Excel GPT to kind of create more efficient Excel formulas, whether that's, trying to find new VBA scripts for a financial model or something that we might be running. So pretty simple stuff, and nothing that's out of the ordinary, I don't think, but it's just having that mindset of, can we do this better, quicker, and more efficiently?
And what innovation projects have you implemented within your team?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that by maybe giving you a bit of an overview as to what I think an innovation is, because I think, especially in the context of kind of AI, that's something that could be lost and might feel very grand to some people. What is an innovation? So I started my career as a trainee accountant in the middle of a global recession. Companies weren't growing, companies therefore weren't hiring. And when I started out, the teams I worked in and the number of co-workers I had was significantly smaller than years previous. So ultimately, to deliver like the same level of work to your clients, you kind of had to innovate. And, constantly asking asking yourself questions like, how can I do this particular task or process quicker, more accurately than before, and kind of avoid manual repetitive tasks. So to me, that's what innovation is. It's really just answering that question. It doesn't have to be a super duper new technology that's come out the blue and turn the world upside down. Kind of specific projects, I would say, that's applicable to us as a finance department. We've got quite a smart way of kind of automating how we invoice our clients. So if I explain that very simply, client is happy with a proposal, they submit a brief form, and that brief form is a boilerplate template that effectively creates an invoice in our accounting system. That's a huge time saving. I've never actually sat down and done the maths on it, but not only is it a huge time saving, it also gives me comfort that we've invoiced every single piece of work. And that's just worth its weight in gold, I would say. A couple of other things we've done. Again, I could be here all day talking about things that we're trying to make more efficient and quicker, but we've looked at automating a lot of the kind of manual things that we do at month end. And by month end, I mean, reporting monthly numbers. So I appreciate this is something that might not mean something to a non-accountant, so apologies in advance. But, we automate our board packs and we automate our consolidation entries. We spent a bit of time doing that up front, and ultimately that means we can get a really good suite of management accounts out to the leadership of the business from, say, 6-7 days, or even middle of the month, down to like 4 or 5 days. And probably the last thing I'm going to touch on is...
That's great. And what do you think is...
No, on you go, Laura.
I was going to say, what do you think the time saving is, or what do you think out of those examples has been the biggest time saving, and roughly put some context around those numbers?
Totally. I mean, if we take month end as an example, you're consolidating multiple entities, you're doing it in a spreadsheet, it could be down to manual error. That means you need to spend more time reviewing it. You're maybe talking 2 of the team spending half a day, so a day in total a month doing that. By kind of leveraging quite a well-known kind of tech platform out there, we've managed to spend the time up front, and our consolidation is done automatically. So we've gone from a day down to pretty much just 5 or 10 minutes glancing over it.
That's great. And you had another example?
Yeah, so probably the last one I would want to talk about is sort of how we reconcile the biggest cost in our business and how do we get comfort over that cost. So, and that cost, of course, is paid media. So our clients come to us with a budget, and we have to ensure that we are abiding by that budget and tracking absolutely everything we spend. So there's that side of it, but also we then, as a finance team, need to ensure, well, that is exactly what we're being billed by multiple tech platforms. So, given that we have hundreds of campaigns over a year, multiple platforms on that campaign, we're talking like thousands of data points on a monthly basis that need to be checked. So again, we've utilized things like ChatGPT in helping us run scripts on Excel to quickly check two systems at month end, ensure and ensuring that we as a finance team have total comfort as to what we're spending on behalf of our clients.
Great. And that brings you better night's sleep as well as time saving, knowing that our media costs are accurate.
Small children tend to ruin that bit for me, but yes.
And what future AI advancements or other projects are you most excited about?
Kind of what I mentioned earlier. I'm a bit of a spreadsheet and Excel geek, so I am quite excited to play around with some of the, the Microsoft Copilot stuff that they've embedded in Excel. Google haven't made anything available for Sheets in the UK yet, but it's coming. So yeah, just looking forward to playing around with that. I'm also having a lot of fun playing with our new digital colleague, Apollo. So I just think that's something that's just going to get better over time and has got the real potential to kind of make our agency, I would say, like so much more efficient in dealing with client queries and just empowering our staff and giving them, much more efficient, quicker training. And that's a great tool for any business, let alone an agency.
Great. Thank you, Sagar.
All right.
We want to talk just a little bit about our sales process and how we've used automation and AI to support our sales process. So some of the challenges in sales is we want to get customers a proposal really quickly, and everybody wants to know what's going on. So when a customer submits an inquiry or submits a brief, it goes straight into our HubSpot deal pipeline. We've also automated that all of that information comes straight into Slack, and it means that we are able to allocate projects even quicker to our team and get back to our customers faster. We've also utilized AI to make sure that we're actually putting the correct targets within our media plans and our proposals. So we've done that through our data benchmarking. Then we've applied a custom GPT to say what is actually the expected output, factoring in things like rising cost of CPC, competitors, and looking at the past performance of that specific client's campaign. So it gives us a really solid base that we're able to do our proposals and our media plans from in terms of cost per acquisition, what kind of budget they might need, what types of campaigns that we can actually run. So that's really helped us to get proposals out faster, convert more proposals, share information across our teams, and have more accurate media planning. We've also spent a lot of time on research and account development. So lots of our clients are huge multinationals that have hundreds, maybe even thousands of events per year. So we are able to use AI to do faster research to find out which events are trading where, what locations, and where we can find wins for our clients. Similarly, we've also been operating a more always-on approach with our customers. So rather than being focused just on the events, we're working on upselling data campaigns. So all of us know that cookie depreciation is coming in and we need to invest in our data building. So it means that we're able to use AI to power the data building, but also show our clients how by running an always-on campaign, you're actually setting yourself up for a more successful event. And then one of the last things, which is pretty simple, but has really saved us a huge amount of time, is we record all of our calls, we transcribe them, and then we get actions as a result of that. So we are then able to summarize that information, send it to the client, make sure everybody's on the same page, and also share anybody that wasn't actually able to attend the meeting. And the last thing that we've not talked about is in terms of onboarding. So we're using AI within our HR processes. So when we are onboarding a new member of the team, when we are interviewing somebody, does their CV and all of their answers from their interview match our values and match how we want to be seen as a company? And then also using our internal digital agents and our training to create faster ways of getting more knowledge to more people, and then supporting them through that journey. So testing the knowledge and making sure that the progression that they get within the company is aligned to what they want to do, and using quarterly performance reviews to evaluate all of those different things. So welcome to our next guest. Can you start by giving us an intro to who you are and what your role is and which department you work in?
So I'm Gemma. I work in the marketing team here at TAG, and our marketing team is very small. It's just made up of me and Steph. So we're small but mighty. So there's a lot that we need to do, and we've really taken AI in our stride and how we've transformed our processes. So I'm so excited to share that.
And can you talk a little bit about some of the problems you've encountered and how you've used AI to solve those problems?
Yeah, of course. So as I mentioned, our marketing team is only made up of me and Steph. So we have to be really smart with our time and what we choose to do with it. We have a huge list of places and kind of platforms that we want to be visible on at all times. But the realistic side of it is that we can't spend all day creating content, especially content that goes out in organic. So a problem we encountered was just in general time and resource. So we really had to do like an overhaul of our processes and figure out what wasn't working and how we could transform them to create new processes that were more structured but also scalable. So where AI came into it was we created a repurposing matrix for our content. I used to spend a scary amount of time listening to, say, like a webinar or a podcast in order to turn it into a different piece of content, like a blog. So now we have kind of embraced AI and also spent a lot of time trialing and testing different prompts so that we could find out what worked. And also we wanted prompts that would work on platforms. So if we were turning a webinar or a webinar or a podcast into a blog, then we didn't want a lot of back and forth when we took it from the output that ChatGPT gave us and then putting it onto the back end of our website. So it was a longer process, but we really wanted to fine tune what these prompts were, and they're really not your generic like 2-line prompts. They're like a page, but they work, and that's the main thing for us. We wanted to completely transform the scale that we're able to make content and also just make ourselves more visible on different platforms. The repurposing matrix has solved a huge problem for us, which is time. I'm able to record a podcast or a webinar and turn it into a blog or a written piece of copy in under 5 minutes, and that includes also putting it on the back end of our website. So it truly is night and day what we're able to do now with AI, and it helps us reach our marketing goals as well.
And what kind of time saving do you think, like if you think about what you were doing before versus what you're able to do now, like in terms of percentage or hours saved, what do you think it does for you?
I'd say minimum 50% time saved, and it could probably stretch to more than that. But it's hundreds of hours saved that I used to spend manually doing all these tasks, and now we're able to use AI to automate the whole thing. It's also that's kind of only the start of our repurposing matrix. So there's bigger plans for it and kind of going from other formats, but we had to prioritise what worked best and what was most important for us at that time. So when I started doing it, like I mentioned, I was manually writing blogs from podcasts and webinars. So we had to really drill into what was most important at that time that we would see change straight away, and then kind of come back to the other ones later on, which is a work in progress just now.
Nice. And what are you most excited about for your next innovation projects this year?
So I've mentioned going from like a video or an audio into a written piece, but I kind of want to flip it on its head, which was one of the prompts that we created at the start with our repurposing matrix, and have a written piece of copy and turn it into a video or a audio piece. I think this would be great for like our blog. We'll make it more accessible if you're able to have an audio version of the blog before you've even read the blog. It'll also make it just more accessible for everyone. And I think I'm just really looking forward to embracing all of the other AI projects that everyone else has created. So Beth created Phoenix, which is our AI assistant, and I'm really excited to kind of bring that into more of our marketing going forward, and sharing more content with that. So something that I'm really excited about when it comes to our repurposing is this podcast, which we're obviously filming first as audio and video, and then we're going to turn it into a full AI playbook. This really brings to life what I was talking about with the repurposing. We've created an event marketing playbook that we update each year, and this includes everything that's new. But it's a very time-consuming process to create like a 50-page deck. So I'm so excited to see this podcast turn into a guide that we can share with our clients and beyond, and have them understand how we're using AI as an agency.
And how do you see all these innovations shaping the future of the agency?
I think the main thing is that we have all embraced AI so much that sometimes we're like, oh, we're not doing enough. But actually, when you look at it from the outside in, we're doing so much more that I think other agencies that are maybe bigger than us aren't doing. But I think that comes back to just us being so much smaller, and the whole team have really embraced it. Because we kind of could have shut down of like, oh, AI is taking our job, but we've all really seen the benefits. And I think when you actually start looking at it in your own department, you see the changes like in real time. So it's so exciting. And I think just being able to share this with other agencies or even with other marketers is what's exciting for me.
Amazing. Thank you, Gemma.
No problem.
So we now have our next guest. If you can introduce yourself, your role and your department.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm the head of paid social. My department is paid social.
And can you talk a little bit about some of the problems you've encountered in your team and how have you used AI to help solve those problems?
I wouldn't necessarily even call them problems. It's just areas where we could speed it up and drive efficiency, essentially. First step is always like in the platforms, AI is just getting integrated absolutely everywhere. We can take advantage of that both from a perspective of speeding up what we do and making our campaigns more efficient, but we can also take advantage of it. That next level is like, how can we use this to sort of expand what we do more rather than just looking at ways to do things quicker. So there's a real mix within the platforms. I'd say on the side of efficiencies and things that we can do, as a first draft for copy, we've created our own custom GPT. So from there, we've sort of fed in our own prompts that says exactly what we're looking for with copy that's focused on not just for social media, but social media for events. And then it will drive our variations. So we're using AI it basically serves multiple versions of copy to each individual, and it'll essentially work out. So say if you've seen an ad once, it'll go, okay, this person's seen this ad the first time. We're now going to show them another version and do it like that. And then we've got up to 5 variations that it'll keep mixing up. What that does is reduce ad fatigue. It focuses the budget on one ad rather than us creating 5. It's wins all round between efficiency and just going that next step further.
Nice. And are there any other specific innovation projects within the team that are happening just now?
We've got all sorts, really. I think one example that I thought would be really cool to talk about that's not necessarily specific to paid social, but can apply it across other things as well, was we use it for our benchmarking. So using AI to create quite complex scripts that allow us to take all of our data and amalgamate it into one place. And then from there, we can drive insight that directly impacts our campaigns, our briefing, our sort of proposals for things, that all feeds in there. But it made a job that otherwise has taken in the past, when we've done it manually, weeks, to creating a formula within hours. There's obviously bits of backwards and forward while you fine tune that, while we sort of let ChatGPT work out what exactly we're looking for, and then we get the end product. It's still light years faster than what we would have done previously.
Great. And can you add a little colour around the time saving, say for the copy creation that you mentioned, or maybe doing insights? What kind of percentage or time saving would you put on that?
It's time saving wise, you're probably looking, typically writing copy would have taken up, once you've done your research and all the bits around that, you're looking at sort of 4 or 5 hours. And it's not to say that we're skipping that bit still happens. ChatGPT can now read a website for you far quicker than anyone else could click through a website. And it cuts that down to now a job of, once you've fed into the prompt itself and you've gone back and sort of added that human touch of just sense checking, as you should always do with these sort of things, you're looking at less than an hour, half an hour sort of time.
Amazing. What future projects are you most excited about that we're doing?
I think, without stepping on anyone's toes, I'm really excited with what we're doing with creative things. Ultimately, creative is the most powerful way we have to target people. And that will become more and more evident in the future. So having a way that we can quickly affect that and change our content to react to what someone's going to respond to most is really powerful. And being able to do that is going to be so important. It already is, and it's just going to get more and more and more important.
Yeah. And all of these things considered, what do you think it does for shaping the future of the agency?
I think the fact that we get everyone involved in it, no matter what position you are in the business, you will have been sort of encouraged to use these sort of tools and integrate them into your workflow. I hope that it impacts their career. They'll be able to look back on their whole career and look back at this as a key moment for them, especially if they stay within the marketing sphere. But I don't just see it as something that will be within, even if they go and do something completely different, I can guarantee they'll be able to look back onto this point and say, oh, it was really good that they pushed me to use these sort of AI tools that are now part of our day-to-day, and it's just totally intuitive for me to be using it. I was doing that earlier than other people, and that gave me the edge when, not wishing anyone to leave, but when they go on to the next role or something like that, that they've got that bit of experience, that they give them the edge over another candidate potentially.
Nice. Thanks, Jack. That's great.
No worries.
So welcome to our next guest. Can you introduce yourself, tell us your role, and also an introduction to your department?
Will do. So my name is Drew. I'm a member of the paid social team here at Tag Digital. I'm a paid social manager. And in particular with our development in AI, I work with the Gen AI creative team.
And can you talk a little bit about any problems you've encountered in your team and how you've used AI to solve those challenges?
Well, with the social team in particular, sometimes we can be stuck on copy for a show. Maybe we don't have the best context in terms of the audience as to who likes to attend. So in terms of utilizing AI to help fix that, we have a tool called Bradina, which is a play on the Google side's ChatGPT bot called Brad. And it essentially is a GPT which briefs us in questions and links to the website in order to help us build copy a lot easier. It gives you a good first draft to work from, and that helps to speed up the process for creating copy.
And can you talk about any other specific innovation projects you've been involved in around automation or AI?
Oh, I've been involved in tons. I'd say the largest one was the Gen AI creative service, particularly with our image service. We use a software called Midjourney along with the editing of our lovely creative guy, Lewis, to create really unique, interesting, and eye-catching banners that a lot of our clients have raved about. I'm also involved with other services like an ongoing Gen AI audio service we're working on, as well as potential for Gen AI video. So I'm involved in the research and ultimate development and creation of the services that we offer out with these AI tools. And then I'm also involved in the actual implementation of those creatives when the briefs come in from our clients. And I love it. It's one of my favorite things that I get to do here at TAG. And I'm happy that I could assist with creating such a kind of revolutionary service within the realm of ad agencies.
And what do you love about it?
I love a lot of things about it, but I would say first and foremost of all is just how unique of a product it is and how creative I can get with the briefs. You may have a client come in not knowing exactly what they want, but with the power of Midjourney and with what we can do when we combine it with things like Photoshop and Adobe Lightroom is anything. If our client has an idea, if they don't, they come to us. The sky's the limit for what we can build and what we can visually create with these tools. It means that instead of generic showroom floors or generic speakers, we can serve something that's almost like an art piece to people, and that tends to resonate really well with them.
And what are you most excited about in terms of future innovation projects or things that you want to work on?
I don't want to speak too soon, but I would say for sure the Gen AI audio ads that I've been working on with our wonderful CTO, Alex. We've innovated with kind of standard single image banners, and now we're looking to innovate with the potential for audio ads on things like Spotify or even Apple Music. It's an area that I've had a lot of passion for as someone who really likes music. I get ads all the time on my Spotify. The worst thing is when you're listening to a podcast or you're listening to your favorite song and you get an ad and it's just boring. So hopefully with our Gen AI audio service, we can help to remedy that and make the process easier for a lot of our clients to gain access to that inventory.
Very cool. And all of these things considered, how do you think it's going to shape the future of the agency?
I would say that the use of generative AI tools is only going to increase with time. We've yet to see whether or not this plateaus, but for the time being, we're at a very critical growth stage for generative AI and the use that we can have with these kinds of services within day-to-day agency life. It's only going to get more important, and as such, the need to upskill and the need to develop such services and utilize it is up the utmost. And I know we prioritize that at TAG, which I think is the right decision.
And personally for you, have you enjoyed being part of forming those processes? And do you think it's felt more sticky because you were involved in building the process from the beginning?
I would say so for sure. It's, on the one hand, there's the side of it where I'm thinking, oh, this is such a cool thing I get to do in 15, 20 years, looking back when it's more commonplace. It's going to be fun to think that I was one of the first to, from like an ad agency perspective, to really get to utilize these tools and build them into something tangible that we can serve and that we can implement within campaigns. And on the other hand, I do feel a sense of pride that I've personally got to work on it. It's almost like I know there's a popular saying, sometimes you have to kill your babies when you have too many ideas and you just narrow down. In this case, this is a baby that is very close and dear to me. So I'm happy that it's flourished as such.
Amazing. You should be very proud, Drew. Great work. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So welcome to our next guest. Can you introduce who you are, what your role is, and what department you work in?
Hi, I'm Ashley, Head of Paid Media at TAG, and my role is we're looking after the Google team, so we look after everything Google, also display, programmatic, some fancy platforms like Digital Out of House and Connected TV. We look after all of that.
Thanks. And can you talk about some of the challenges that you've encountered in your team and how you've used AI or automation to solve those challenges?
Sure. So one of the biggest benefits of AI has definitely been how it can save time. A lot of the kind of mundane tasks AI can help with support, which is amazing. And the second big thing is around like, you know, learning. So AI is a massive beast, and it's a great opportunity for all of the team to learn. And that's something that we as an agency are really hungry for. So the team really enjoy kind of filling that void with AI as well.
And can you talk about some of the innovation projects that have been happening in your team?
Sure. We love innovation. So every quarter we're definitely innovating on lots of things. So to name a few good ones, we have our own ChatGPT for writing copy. So it supports us in writing copy, which is a really great foundation. So we're able to build that with like all of our knowledge, everything like in terms of best practices as like paid experts or paid media experts, as well as event industry experts. And that gives us a really great starting point. And we're also constantly developing that and improving on that as well, which is really great. Another one that we're kind of working on off the back of that is a tool that can help us, or like a ChatGPT or some sort of AI we're kind of yet to define, but it will help us check kind of our campaign builds, again, go through all of our best practices, recommendations, everything that we do is like a kind of a quality assurance that will help us support with that. So that's something really exciting. We also use scripts and stuff like that as well, which is great. We've got a tool that can help us build scripts because we're not all amazing at JavaScript, which is helpful. And something else in terms of AI that we also do on a day-to-day, so the platforms that we use are very innovative. So there's constantly new betas, and we have access to those that really allow us to tap into that AI. So a few examples would be things around like YouTube Shorts as an innovation, or there's conversation within Google Ads to build a campaign which uses AI and kind of lets us tap into like a new insight there. And another great one that is going to be quite interesting is around like working towards like AI with our reporting, which can give us like another set of eyes, because sometimes when you get really in the zone, you kind of just, it's good to have another set of eyes. So that's something that we hope that AI can offer us as well in the future.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about the process of empowering the team with having their own innovation projects and how you make those processes sticky when you introduce them to the team?
Yeah, it's a good one. I think the best way about that is the team are involved in kind of all of that process, that idea generation, that kind of recognition for what problems they have or what's maybe taken a long time or what could be better. And also we're really good at sharing a lot of examples of what's been done before. So things like Phoenix, which is a great one for us in terms of internal training, and how that can be used in other scenarios. So really just sharing all of that knowledge for the team to get involved with, and having support systems. And we also have like mini teams. So you've got like a really good like support to kind of get that from A to Z. We also have like a good outline as well at the beginning of the project. So things happen rather than, you know, you maybe have an idea and it's a really good idea, but things get busy. We kind of try to prioritise what's realistic within each project, within each quarter and things like that. So that's really helpful for the team to be involved, because a lot of the time they have all the ideas and they know a lot of great stuff. So it's really good.
And what one thing have you seen the biggest time-saving impact from all the different things that you've been doing? What's the one thing you think has had the biggest outcome?
It's a good question. There's like so many. I think having AI in terms of like helping with a baseline for the campaign builds is probably the biggest. So that saves a lot of time. And even small things that like AI can do in terms of like call transcripts and things like that, that can really save a lot of time and also help us like formulate like the best output for everyone. So, you know, it's consistent. That's a good win. And even we also used like AI a lot for bulking out like content and things like that, which can save a lot of time. You know, if you've got like a bullet point, it can help like kind of elaborate a little bit more or explain something in a way that is quite hard for sometimes when you're technical. You're a bit too involved, so it's good to kind of have that level up that AI can offer really, really quickly without, you know, having to spend half an hour writing a message or whatever it might be.
And what advancements are you most excited about that are coming up this year in terms of AI?
I think internally something that's really exciting that we're working on is the kind of our own like chatbot that's got like all of our documentation and knowledge, which is really exciting. So I think as an agency, something we're really good at is like having that shared knowledge, all the processes, everything that, you know, everybody can learn and develop and are all on the same page. And all that sort of stuff is something that really allows us as an agency to be really strong. But to have all that within an AI is going to be really like massive and kind of allowing us to level up. It'll be a massive change and kind of going to that kind of one point and everyone's kind of aligned there. So I think that would be a huge one. As well as if we can manage to integrate like AI within our reporting, I think that would be really exciting for us in terms of that other set of eyes, and just really allow us to analyze data like at scale and save a lot of time, where we can kind of move to a bit more strategy and things like that, which would be great.
And all these things considered, how do you think it helps us shape the future of the agency?
Massively. Like I think we as an agency are really good with AI. We're really kind of at the forefront of everything we can be, really pushing ourselves out of comfort zones and like testing, and it's also kind of training a lot of that expectations of what's realistic and what's good and how we can improve and how we can work towards an end goal as an agency and individuals. I think that's massive, and I think by doing that now while we can, and we can like play around a little bit more, take our time, learn, is going to put us in a really good position when in a year's time or however long it's going to be a lot more prominent than it is now.
Thanks, Ash. Welcome to our next guest. If you can start by introducing yourself, your role and your department.
So hello, I'm Charlotte. I'm a paid social team lead, and I'm a team lead in the paid social team.
And can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you've encountered in your team and how you've used AI or automation to resolve some of those?
So I think a lot of, especially what I've been focusing on as well, in terms of challenges, have been on the creative side. So clients not having banners that are following best practices or maybe keeping up with the latest AI trends. Getting banners on time from clients is a big one as well. So relying a lot on our creative service team and pushing that as much as possible to get campaigns out on time and to get the best performance from them.
And your team recently won an award for Best Digital Advertising Campaign for Automechanica, which is an automotive event in Dubai. Can you talk a little bit around the innovation that you used and why that was successful and what you learned from that experience?
Yeah, so we recently won the award for the best advertising campaign. A lot of that down to the use of generative AI banners, which we managed to upsell to the client. They were struggling in-house with their own creative team, getting creative banners on time. They wanted a little bit of a refresh in their banners as well, which came at a really good time of when our Gen AI creative service was also launched. So it was a good test for our team as well. We'd never really used them within the automotive industry as well. So it was a good test for a first time campaign in that industry too. So it was, great performance all around. I think if I can remember correctly, 76% of total ticket purchases came from the Gen AI banners, which is an amazing result. Over 18,000 clicks came through the Gen AI banners as well, showing they really resonated with the audience, and were a huge asset to the campaign, bringing us to the award-winning status that it was.
And why do you think it succeeded so much more than, say, some of the other assets that you were running?
I think it was something a little bit different. Not many people at the time when we launched the campaign were really looking into the Gen AI side of creative banners, things like that. I think it was a little bit different for the users when scrolling on the usual social medias, to come across a banner that maybe looked a little bit different, something a little bit more intriguing. It was also different for the users that are used to Automechanica's usual style of banner and things like that. I think we had the same banner style for the last 2 to 3 years for this campaign. So changing it up a little bit, keeping within the branding still, but just offering something a little bit more exciting. I think that obviously really stood out to the users.
And what future advancements are you most excited about for this year?
Kind of staying on the theme of creative. I know Meta and LinkedIn probably have things in the pipeline as well, but they've started introducing some AI features within the platforms in creative as well. So I know Meta's recently launched their AI generated backgrounds and things like that, which you can automatically apply to your ads when you upload your creative to the campaign. So looking at how that develops, looking how our own Gen AI service develops as well. If we're going to delve into the whole video side of things, and if the platform also heads that way as well, I'm really excited to see how all of that performs.
And all things considered, how do you think this is going to help shape the future of the agency?
I think this is a huge key selling point for us. It's something completely different. It's something that we now have good experience in. We've got good data behind different results and things like that to show that this type of creative and type of service really does work for us. And hopefully we can start investing a little bit more time throughout the team, and new clients and things start taking that on board and testing it for themselves. I think that's going to really, really help us as we move towards a much more AI focused platform and experience.
Amazing. Thank you, Charlotte. So we welcome our next guest. If you can introduce who you are, what your role is, and what department you work in.
Hello, Laura. I'm Alex, and I'm CTO at Tag Digital. My role is to basically be responsible for all technology we use into our company, and to be sure that everything working properly, and to implement all the new tech we want to use in future.
And can you talk broadly about our AI strategy and how we are building it into the team, what we've done and what we're going to do next?
All right, cool. So that's a kind of a big problem. I think a lot of companies are really struggling to figure out the strategy. But I'll start with some stats. I don't know if you're aware, but when we are kids until we 5 years old, we develop 90% of our brain. So in this first 5 years, we develop most of it. And how we do that? We do that through learning and through playing and through exploring the world around us. So when we said, okay, we want to have AI strategy, then the big question for me is how we basically can scale this up. And then we can top this with a few more layers. Is the layer one is how we can upskill everyone to using AI in their day-to-day work. And the second layer is how we can remove I call these people bottlenecks, people like me that have like a knowledge in some domain, but they are the only knowledge we have across the company. So we want they to have like a lower influence if possible. So they're bottlenecks. And if you get all of this together, what we've done is to kind of create a learning strategy first to upskill the whole company. And then obviously the first part of this strategy is bring awareness. So what AI tools we can use, how we can use it, how we can't use it, when we should use it, when we should not use it, have AI policy, all that stuff coming all together, like a initial awareness of basically what is possible, what is not possible. Then the next step is create a safety environment. That's a place where people, everyone from the company can easily deploy their own projects, AI projects, and be sure that the data is staying within the company and everything is safe. And then obviously we need to upskill the whole company. We do that through different learning sessions when we emphasize or on creating something that basically you can start using tomorrow. So there's a lot of practical exercises of creating a small application that solve someone small problem that can be used tomorrow in their day-to-day job. And on top of that, we do something like we call that Tech Lab as the podcast, which is twice a year. We do like a big event where people comes with idea and then develop and present these ideas to the whole company. On top of that, of course, there's one more thing. We run innovation projects, which are quarterly goals for our team. I think at the moment we have something like 10 or 12 innovation AI projects only. So a small team of 2 or 3 are working on specific challenge or specific problem, and they come up with a solution, whatever that be, a new product, a new service, or a new application we can use internally or externally. And that's really engaging way of people to learn, because they have someone that can support them, or a few people that can support them in building this application, but also they doing by their own, and they do that in a safe environment for the company. I think that's the main thing in terms of like a overall strategy. We want to upskill everyone in the company to be able to build their own AI solutions. And obviously, as much as you do, there's more and more ideas. So people are really getting very creative when they start doing something and see a real result. And then obviously we've done, I assume some of the other guys are talking in specifics what we've done, but just a few of them, like you can do something that help you drafting your emails or help you create a content, whatever is blog post or social media post. We can streamline client communication. We can analyze data we use in our marketing campaigns and streamline and making insights of the campaigns easier. Writing out copy, automatically check some works or do some validators that check a work and say, okay, that's good, that's not good, you need to change this. And also we can go into generative AI world where we can, create a new type of media, like AI creatives, like banners, images, and videos as well. That's in general the overall strategy of how we can what we want to do. Basically, upskill the whole company, everyone to be able to do something or to create application and do it in engaging way through learning and on-hands experience.
And how do you think it helps employees build that growth mindset through empowering them to try all of these different things? What's the impact you've seen on the team having these projects?
Well, I think the first thing is the engagement, because there's really increase of engagement because you're doing something that you're interested to do. Actually, you solve a problem that you have on daily basis. And when you do that, you're basically proud with that. And then you can share that with your colleagues. And then you say, okay, that's great. I want to do something else. And that's how people are just getting more interested in AI and just get more kind of awareness of what is possible to be done. Because, we were talking that, I don't know what you say, but something like the AI is big elephant in the room. So everyone's talking about it, but no one knows actually what you can do. And that's the main problem. People don't know what can do. But once you start deploying something, which can be something really simple, then you say, oh, that's great. Let's try something else. Let's try something else. And I'm seeing like a lot of people now are coming to me just asking questions. Can we do this? Can we do that? How can we do that? I say, okay, from my experience, we can do it in this way. Do you want to try? And then people are really interested and engaged. And it's really, if you're curious, you'll be interested in that as well. I'm pretty sure. because you're staying at the top of the tech at the moment if you're doing something like that.
Yeah. And what's been your favorite AI project, or the thing that you think's had the most impact that we've done over the last couple of years?
Couple of years, all right. The most impactful, I think all of them have a different impact. I need to think about this, but I'll probably say Apollo can be a good candidate for this one. We're still in the early stages of using it, but if we talk about something that we already have put in place, I would say even something simple like doing minutes of meeting after the call just have a great impact, because that can save something like between 10 and 50 days per year per person. And that's, if you think from business perspective, that's a huge amount of time. So you free that time, someone can use it for something else. That's simple. But yeah, my expectation is that Apollo is going to have even bigger impact once we use it more than now.
And talk a little bit about the future with Apollo and what he is going to be doing for us and what excites you about that.
Okay, so Apollo specifically, you want to know. I think once we go to the stage that it's first instance to internal support, and once we train enough with all the data we have, because I think now it's trained with, like, let's say 80-90% of the data we have as internal knowledge. Once he knows everything across the company, can answer every single question, then that have a huge benefit to the company, because you have something that is available 24/7. So there is no restrictions around time zones. It can be used with different teams in different time zones so no one needs to wait. Also, Apollo is multilingual, which means that all the people in the company that English is not their first language can use it as well to ask questions and have the answers within their own language. And I think that will free a lot of time of middle management. If I need to estimate in hours, probably that will be something like probably around 20 to 40 days per year per like a line manager, because most of the time what line managers are doing is answering questions from their teams. And then if Apollo is able to answer 80% of that question, that will free enormous amount of time, which, as we know, is equal to money. So they can basically focus on new projects, focus on relationship within the team, and focus on like their own development as well.
And what other future advancements or projects that we're working on are you most excited about within TAG, first of all?
Well, there's few projects. I'll say probably the one very interesting and more complicated is use all of our communication data and convert this data into knowledge that we can use to train, for example, Apollo, or train some other AI agent that can be a very, very focused, comprehensive digital marketing specialist colleague that will basically have all the knowledge of everyone in the company. So kind of like a big brain that is capable to answer all of weird questions we are facing every single day and be very accurate with that. So that's the exciting, because there's a lot of information, like I think it's 300 gigabytes, and we need to get this information, find what is valuable inside this information, because probably more than 50% is not valuable or not correct, and then turn this actual valuable information in knowledge and give that knowledge a face or interface or whatever it is that can be used by everyone, whatever is our internal team or our clients as well.
Thanks. And AI is a subject you're massively passionate and knowledgeable about. Can you talk a little bit broader to the future of AI in the landscape, and what you see happening and changing, or what you're most curious about?
All right. Okay. I'll divide this into a few kind of time frames, let's say. I think the first one, when we talk about AI in the future, in like a up to year time, between, let's say, 6 months and 1 year, what we're going to see is first, we can see AI in almost every software we use on daily basis. There will be some sort of AI feature inside the software. Obviously, first one that are going to do that are like the big companies that holding the workspaces, like Microsoft or Google Workspace. We can see even now Microsoft have Copilot. They're still kind of trying to push that to the wider audience. Google have Gemini inside their workspace. So that will be the first thing we'll see 9 months, 1 year. Then the next thing going in parallel, we'll see it's AI in hardware. And the first hardware we're going to see AI, it's our phones. That's the hardware we use the most probably. I'm pretty sure we'll see the next generation of phones, whether it's iPhone on Android phones from the big vendors, are going to have AI features baked inside the hardware. And that's because basically we have now powerful enough chips to run this. Then I think next stage will be like between 1 and 2 years. What we're going to see is booming wearables and other kind of hardware powered by AI. So there will be a boom of completely new devices we never thought about. So imagine every single thing you see top up with AI, whatever it's a TV set, or whatever it's any single gadget, basically. Imagine there's AI in it. So that will be the next, because that's almost easy to do. There's like 2 different technology that you can put together. And within this period, 1-2 years, we'll see boom of AI agents. I'll call that AI agents everywhere. So companies, business are going to have AI agents that are used internally, like Apple we have at the moment, for solving all the internal, like a questions problem coming up, like a HR, for example, workload distribution, operations, employment management, all that stuff. And also a company is going to have external AI agents, which are going to do probably 80-90% of sales and customer service. That's kind of future 1-2 years, let's say. And also, I think there will be the next stage will be, let's say, in 2-5 years, every one of us is going to have digital twin, which basically should be like instance of yourself trained with your own knowledge and data. And this agent is your assistant to everything you're doing. That's kind of your second brain, let's say. So imagine you train this AI agent with all the data, all the digital footprint you created, from photos to emails to everything you do on daily basis. And basically that will be your assistant. I think it's starting, this trend is starting, but it's still too new and people are still too scary, but that will be probably trend in 2-5 years, I'll say. Also at this time, I think there will be a boom in robotics. So now robotics, it's doing very well, but it's lagging behind AI advancements. And it's simply because It's just more complicated. Robotics required mechanics and all that stuff. It's more complicated, but all the robots will be topped up with AI, so they're not going just to do one task. They can make contextual decisions, and they can solve more complex problem. And then obviously the one thing that I am the most interested is something happening 5+ years to, I don't know, 20 years or 30 years, or who knows, it's AGI. So that will be the stage where basically we create sentient super intelligence that is even have higher intelligence than our, and that can have its own decision making, can do basically everything better than humans. So that will be the next stage. So there is like a lot of predictions in that stage between, okay, we're going to have it 2027, 2030, someone say never, someone say probably in 2050, 2070. That's like a realistic. So there's like a lot of different opinions on that. There's like a techno skeptics and techno enthusiasts. I probably more in techno enthusiasts. Something is telling me that probably we're going to have that before 2030. But let's say that's connection with something above. I'm not sure. That's how I feel it.
Okay, thanks for all that, Alex. And lastly, all of that considered, all the things we're doing, all the things you see in the future, what do you think that means for us as a company, and how we're going to shape the future of what we do?
Well, that's a very existential question, Laura. How are we going to shape the future? So everything is up to us, I'll say. We need to be on top of all the technological advancement first, and we need to use that wisely, which means because we have the power to use it properly. And I'm pretty sure we're going to use it properly, which means that we're going to empower the team with AI rather than trying to, use AI instead of humans. That's what I think we're going to do.
Nice.
So we're going to have a superpowered team that it's capable to do everything in the world.
Amazing. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks very much.
So I hope that has been a helpful podcast today. Just to recap, we have talked a little bit about employee empowerment and our process for giving every single person at every department some way of inputting to the overall AI process. So that means that quarterly, everybody has an innovation project, everybody has a responsibility to be testing something new, because we're not able to see what would make a process faster in finance, or maybe for onboarding, as well as the people that are doing it right there and then every single day. We've talked a little bit about onboarding, and when we are hiring, when we are supporting people through their career journeys and training them, we're using AI across all of those different stages to make sure that the experience is better. We cultivate a better sense of belonging, and we are also able to upskill our entire team. So Alex talked to, we're doing learning sessions across the team. We have our innovation projects that everybody has. We are doing Tag Labs. So that is our completely free and creative session that we do twice a year, where we bring fresh ideas. Everybody has ownership of those ideas, and we're creating something totally different. We talked a little bit about finance. So Sagar and Lucy and Megan have lots of different processes that go from automated invoice creation to payment reconciliation to media spend, making sure that's accurate across all of our key customers. And then we're also playing with different things around building out insights in terms of finance, how we upskill in terms of Excel, and really just making faster, more efficient and more reliable processes. In terms of sales, we've got proposals and we've got automated deal pipelines, all the way through to forecasting and making sure that that's more accurate, and upselling where there's other ways that we can lean on AI to deliver better results. Then our operations team, so talking through creation of ad copy, benchmarking, insights, and all of the different innovation projects we've got there. And then finally, our marketing team, who are doing amazing things in terms of content repurposing and making sure that we can get content out faster, using one bit of content to create 200 different types of content, which we were never able to do before. So really speeding up our process, getting creative with different copy ideas, and also leaning heavily into generative AI creative, which has been a game changer for us. So hopefully that has given a holistic overview. We will also be doing a deck that sits alongside this. Please share with your team and reach out with any other questions, and I'm sure we'll do another one in a few months' time. Thanks everyone for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.